Today's podcast is brought to you by StrongHeartAcademy.com, where no heart is no victory. We are also brought to you by BJJ To Go. If you want to build your game and learn jiu-jitsu, go to bjjtogo.com. Third thing we're brought to you by is Rat Bat. You got rats? Want to kill bats? Kill them with a rat bat. Fourth thing we're brought to you by is hot dog flavored water ingredients. If you want to add it to your smoothie, hot dog flavor ingredient. So I just got done training and I didn't have time to change. I actually have to go do a bunch of stuff, but I thought I'd do a podcast real quick. I just finished a book that someone gave to me, and it was The Art of Manliness, I believe, or something like that. It was okay book. One of the things that they thought were important was they said, I believe they said integrity, but they kind of skimmed over it. And I thought, like, for me, it's like one of the 8 strong heart principles. So we have 8 strong heart principles. And one of the most important, besides diligence to me, is integrity. And I felt like they just glossed over it and they didn't have a good explanation. This is a good writer, but to me, it's one of the most important things is how I judge a man, honestly. It's like the number one thing I judge a man on. People make mistakes and all this kind of stuff, but like, does this person have integrity, you know? And I just have a couple things on my phone here I wanted to go over real quick. So, if you look up the definition of integrity, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. He is known to be a man of integrity, the state of being whole and undivided. Being honest and strong moral principles. Even that can be, what is morality? We can do all that kind of stuff. I always thought, like, it's important if I say I'm going to do something that I do it. Okay, my yes means yes and my no means no. In James 5:12, it says, "Above all, brothers and sisters, do not swear by heaven on earth or by anything else. All you need to do is simply say yes or no. Otherwise, you'll be condemned." I just feel like so many people like, I swear by my beard, I swear I'll do it on my mother's grave. There's certain people, when they say yes, I know it's going to happen. If they say no, that's it. It's way more cut and dry, and I feel like people respect you more when you're able to do that. Now, look, you're going to make mistakes for sure, but, I think it's hopefully few and far between. If you're consistent. Let's see here in Matthew 5:37, and he just is talking about not making promises as well, and that's the Sermon on the Mount when Jesus is just saying, "Mean your yes mean yes and your no mean no," and man, I just really believe in that, and when people don't do that to me, I lose a sense of respect for you. And that sounds so harsh, but like so few people, their yes is their yes and their no is their no. I always say yes or yes and no is no and maybe is no. When I say maybe, man, I really try to make that a yes. It's like, I'm going to try, but if something happens that prevents me, understand that I try to make that happen. Many people don't want to say no, so they say maybe. Okay? I try never to do that. Or I'll say, let me think about it. And even that is usually a no for most people. But when I say it, I'm really going to think that through. Like, maybe, is this a good decision? Is this something I should do? Should I not do? I don't like to try to make decisions right off the bat. You come to me and say something and ask for something, my time is tight and precious and important to me. So I don't like to commit to things. But when I say yes, you should know that I'm going to do it and I will be there or try my darndest to get it to happen. And So few people do that. Man, in business, it's like super important to me. But I hope people know that, like, when they go, oh, when Mike says this, it is what it is. Like, there's no judging. People don't go, I don't know if I can take his word, right? And I don't have all I have is yes or no. My yes is yes, and my no is no. And, man, the world is so uncertain. And when you meet people that can be so certain in their answers, I find it refreshing, and I know that I can trust that person. There's so many things you can't trust. Even your car, you don't know if you could trust your car. I had to change the airbag on my old car because they're exploding, and it's basically shrapnel in your face. So, technology you can't always rely on. Even science changes, and that's part of science, because when there's new information, you go with that. But like, everyone, even with science, like, oh, it's science. Like, yeah, but it can change. it changes. So it's always refreshing to meet people that have integrity. And as a man, it is the number one thing I judge you for. I'll be honest. The number one thing I judge someone on. People can improve. People can change, I believe. But when you're starting off on a bad foot, on a dishonest, for the rest of you break these things with me, I always question, and I put very little reverence in your words, and you should think about that, when you do something and people, don't take you serious, they don't, it's Mike, if he says he's going to be there 2, he'll be there at 4, like, it's kind of funny, but I don't want that for me. And I'm trying to teach my own kids that. I try to teach the students in my school that, kids and adults, if you're dealing with me, man, just say yes or no. It's okay to say no. People are afraid to say no. And I've been afraid to say no. I say yes and I still do it, versus like, maybe, I don't know, maybe, let me think about it. Again, you should try your best to make it happen if that's your answer. It's just some thoughts on things that I hold dear, principles in my life. And if you have no principles in your life, you should really think about that. And I don't even consider that just a religious thing, although I gave a few Bible verses, but like, that's one of my favorite Bible verses, and no one really talks about that in the Bible, about your yes, no, and no, because so many people break it, Christians included. But I hold that really dear to me, integrity. And even with my own family, it kills me when I break it. When I say, oh, I'll be there, and I end up working late or something like that. I'm trying to even get better at that. They shouldn't have the short end of the stick. Again, they should go, oh, Mike said he'll be here. Our dad said he'll be here. He's there, and not like, well, I can't trust his word, And for your children, it's important that they have trust in you, and that you're going to say and do the things that you're going to do. And then that's just an example for them to lead their lives in a trustworthy way. And I don't think that's a religious thing at all. Again, I did some Bible verses, but it's that should just be a human thing. And people that you can't trust, you don't want to have dealings with. You don't want to, you wouldn't trust your time, your money, your property, business. You can't. Nobody wants to be known as the untrustworthy person and have no integrity, So integrity is important to me. We say it part of my student creed for the kids, every class. I've debated about in the future having an adult student creed, but I feel like it's just as important for adults as kids, Maybe it's like kids are still learning these concepts so that they're adults, and sometimes I assume adults learn that when they're kids, and it's not always the case, or maybe they forgot it, and no one was around to correct them, So hope you like this short one. I know I'm in my goofy gi, but most of you guys just listen anyway, so peace.
Let me talk for just a second, help me feel that sense of rhythm. Find the meanings in our bearings and discover this position as a stage along the way. Another rung to the ladder, either stalling or you're climbing, and I'd rather beat the ladder. Instead of getting fatter, let the footsteps resume naturally.